Hello and happy Vlogmas day 3. For today's Vlogmas, I wanted to get a little bit more personal and share with you guys 5 lessons I've learned from 5, almost 6 years of teaching abroad. I think that sharing my story more and as often as possible has given me such a light into the life I want to lead, the impact that I want to have, and the love I want to share with others. I know I say this all the time, teaching abroad has legitimately changed my life for the better in so many different ways, and I'm happy to share some of those ways with you. So let's get into the 5 lessons I have learned while teaching abroad.
Ho, 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 ho!
Number 1, home is where you build it. I think one of the biggest things people get worried about when they are teaching abroad is building community and finding friends and finding people who are going to support you throughout this journey. And I promise you, you will. In every single country, this is my 3rd country abroad, and I have made some legitimately lifetime long friends. There are people I met in Kuwait in 2014 who are still my number ones, my aces, my road dogs to this day. You get to decide who you want to have in your space, who you get to love, and who gets to love you. Teaching abroad allows you to expand your community, expand your relationships. You're going to connect with people that you might have never thought you would have the possibility to connect with. And that is one of the things I think is so incredibly beautiful. I think about some of the close relationships I have now that I don't know how our paths would have crossed if I hadn't taken the lead to move abroad, and if they also hadn't taken that lead to move abroad at the same exact time. So just keep in mind that even though it can be scary, especially if you're going by yourself, you will find your people. You will find your community. Now, I'm not gonna say they're just gonna fall out of your lap. I'm not gonna say that. You do have to be active in that process as well. But wherever you go, your people will find you, and you will be able to build a home wherever it is you decide that you want to. My chosen family that I have had over these last 5, almost 6 years abroad have been with me and connected with me in some of the most pivotal moments in my life. Specifically thinking about when I started therapy in Kuwait in 2000. Did I start in 2017? And I think my family is not a therapy family, right? We don't believe in that. We don't share those things with other people, and I think that's very common. I think therapy has a stigma, period, but it is very, very heavily stigmatized in the Black community. And therapy wasn't even something that I feel like I thought I would have access to, or be able to do, or deserved to be able to do. So being in a space where I had friends and people around me being like, if you want to go to therapy, we're here to support you. One of my friends literally said to me, how can I support you during this time? And that was the moment I knew I had made some of the most beautiful connections and friendships ever in life, and I will never forget that moment. So small things like that are gonna be your experience. You're gonna have people around you who are gonna motivate you, who are gonna support you, who are gonna love you, who are gonna help you build a space that feels like home. You get to define what that is, and that is one of the best things about teaching and moving abroad. Redefining what home looks like, feels like, sounds like to you. You get to do that every day. Number 2 on the docket, your dreams are not too big. They are waiting for you. Let me say that again. Your dreams are not too big. They are waiting for you. I have had some incredible moments abroad, from being able to sing at insane events to having my song on a radio in Kuwait. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later. The life you have always imagined, and this is me also speaking to me, right? Because I told you guys in the first Vlogmas that I'm in this space now of really stepping into my power, stepping into my creativity, stepping into my ideas, and really putting myself out there fully and boldly and not holding anything back, right? Because I think with my dreams and specifically, I kind of tiptoe. Like, I'm like, you know, when it's summertime and you're in the pool, you're like, it's a little bit cold, so you just dip your toe in, right? Just to test the water. No, I'm jumping in full force, full speed ahead with everything. And I think being abroad and teaching abroad gives me the space and the freedom to do that. There's something about this energy. There's something about being abroad that has always attracted me especially the GCC region. And it's allowed me to live in that space, to live fully, right? When I moved back from Kuwait the first time, I was not, at a soul level, I was not happy. I was content, right? I was comfortable. I was doing the things. I was in a long-term relationship. I got a car. I'm renting this house now, but there was something else out there that wasn't feeding my soul. I didn't feel like that's where I was supposed to be. And I know that the majority of that is because I wasn't following my dreams, following my passions, all of these ideas and creative pursuits that I had. I would either start and stop or not fully commit. And I think when you're in a space where you feel limitless, man, it does wonders for your soul, for your mind, for your creativity, for your productivity, for everything. So when you're thinking about your dreams and what you want to do, and if one of your dreams is to move abroad, to teach abroad, to do whatever, the opportunity is waiting for you. You have to act on it. It is there. It is sitting right there. All you gotta do is go and pluck it. So carry that energy into 2025. And I know that's something that has been reinvigorated in me and refreshed in me and into my soul, is that this space that I'm in, I'm snatching every single dream that I have. Every single one, no matter how big, no matter how out there. I don't care who's looking at me. I don't care who's talking about me. I'm gonna do exactly what it is that I want to do, because my dreams are waiting for me and I'm gonna get them, period. Number 3, privilege is a lesson in humility. I shared a video on TikTok earlier this year from another creator, responding to her, another Black creator who has lived and travels abroad frequently, and talking about the privilege of being a Black woman abroad, right? Because it's not necessarily a conversation or a situation that we're in all the time, especially if you're in the States. So when I moved abroad, especially with that blue passport, right, we can't deny the power of it. There was something so different about that dynamic shift in my mind. And I remember just getting off the plane and interacting with people and running to the corner store when I first got to Kuwait and recognizing that, my goodness, we are so much more connected than we think we are. Regardless of where you live, regardless of where you grew up, regardless of your religion or your background, we're all here on the same plane, doing the same thing, trying to live the same kind of life. And I think that is so incredibly beautiful. And there are certain things that I have had access to that are privileges, right? Like being able to travel as much as I have, being able to have a sense of financial stability. All of those things are a privilege that I don't take for granted. And I'm so grateful to be able to do that and have those experiences. And that is because I have chosen to teach abroad, especially here in the GCC region, because they really set your girl up. So keeping that in the back of my mind when I interact with people, when I have conversations, when I'm navigating and moving through this space as a Black woman abroad in this world, it is a privilege. It is a privilege. And we're all more connected than we think. The world is bigger and kinder than you think. I'm gonna share a story of when I first landed in Kuwait. They took us to the grocery store. I think it literally was the second day that I was there. And I never really had any prejudices against the Middle East at all, right? Just from what I would hear other people in the US say and conversations about in politics and things like that, but never personally did I have any views against anyone in the Middle East, right? But then you get there and you're like, okay, these are all the things that people say and these are the interactions that people have, and it kind of starts to creep into your head a little bit, right? So we're in the store and I'm just pushing my cart and I see this older lady, Muslim lady, and she's watching us like a hawk, like she's looking, and I'm like, oh God, I never felt any nervousness or any worry or anything before, and I'm like, this is strange, I don't know what this is, right? So she walks up to us finally and she's like, are you guys from, where are you guys from? And I'm like, I'm from America. And she's like, oh my God, I love America. I go to Minnesota every single year with my family. And we ended up just having this beautiful, beautiful conversation. And it was just such a reminder of that. You literally cannot judge anyone. You literally cannot have any prejudice about anyone. You literally cannot come with any ideas in your head about any group of people at all, right? And that really showed me that I was in a place that was so beautiful and so warm and so loving and so open. And it really made me excited that having that been my first interaction, it was incredible. So that's something that has literally stuck with me for 10 years, right? Because we're coming up, this past August was like my 10-year anniversary of first moving abroad. And I still remember that. I actually can see the lady in my head. Like I could probably pick her out in a lineup today. So it just reminds me that there is a lot of shit going on in the world. I am not ignorant to that. I'm not ignorant to that at all. But there is also still a lot of beauty, a lot of beautiful people, a lot of beautiful experiences, a lot of beautiful relationships. And I want us to take time to remember that even if you don't choose to leave or teach abroad, whatever, even in your own community, right? The world is much kinder than we give it to be. And I wish that we could operate in that space instead of always seeing the negative in anything. And I'm not saying that like toxic positivity, I'm not saying that. But I think we sometimes lean to the other edge a little bit too far. There are still very beautiful, wonderful, amazing things in the world. And God, how blessed are we to get to experience them? You could have been a tree, babes. You could have been my water bottle. You could have been a slipper. But you are here, a live, breathing, conscious human who gets to make choices, who gets to love, who gets to create, who gets to exist. And that is beautiful. And there are more things that connect us than separate us. And I don't want you to forget that. Whether you choose to stay abroad or whether you choose to move abroad or you choose to stay at home, remember that. And number 5, something I'm still learning to this day. You have the right and you deserve to prioritize yourself. I want to tattoo this on your forehead, okay? Especially coming from someone who is big sis, okay, single parent household, big sis, the oldest of 6. I spent a lot of time taking care of other people, my siblings. And granted, I love them down. But that takes a lot out of you, especially when you are a young child going into a teenager and you spend most of your time helping take care of children that you didn't give birth to. We're still working through some of that trauma. Anyways, so I think that's one of when I really dug down deep, I think that's one of the reasons why I did take the big leap and literally move across the world, right? Subconsciously. It didn't really come to me until honestly about this year when I really started to think about, well, why would I take such a leap like that when nobody in my immediate space had ever done anything like that? And I think there's some truth to that, right? I want you to remember, just like I was talking about dreams earlier, we only, not to sound morbid or crazy, but you actually only have this one life. You don't get another one. You don't get a redo. You don't get a do-over. You don't get a second one. This is the one life that you have. And you have to prioritize what you want first. Before your mama, before your daddy, before your friends, before society, before anything else, because at the end of the day, you're the person that has to sit and live with whatever choices that you make. Nobody else. So if you don't do something or you do something on the word of somebody else, that's not a good look, babes. That's not a good look. You don't get to do that part over. Prioritize yourself in whatever way that means. And it could be small things. It could be small things like right on Sundays, you know what I do? I have Sunday steak. Baby, it's all about me. I don't want to talk to nobody. I put myself on a little rom-com, a little steak dinner, a little wine, a little glass of rosé, and it's all about me. Because you have to be your number one priority in this life, and not in a selfish way. I mean, yes, in a selfish way, but not in a negatively selfish way, right? You have to take care of you. And sometimes that means putting the needs and wants and desires of others on hold and saying, this is what I need for myself right now. And running with that. And that's okay. I'm here to tell you, if nobody else is telling you today, babes, I'm here to tell you that that is okay. You deserve to prioritize yourself. Today, tomorrow, in 2025, and baby, in 2042 also. You're number one, numero uno. If you decide to embark on this journey, if you're listening to these 5 lessons, if you're watching any other videos, or if you're just in the space where you're just questioning and you're wondering, you're not selfish for chasing a better life. What's really selfish is settling, right? What's really selfish is settling. Because if you settle, we don't get to see the greatness of you. We don't get to connect with you. We don't get to see the things that you'll build, the relationships that you'll make, the connections that you'll bring together. It's selfish to not share you with the world. So thank you all for tuning in to Vlogmas Day 3. We are rolling up. And again, if you want to enter the giveaways, go ahead and subscribe to our mailing list. That is how you enter. There's a special link in the description box below. And let me know if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, what resonated with you in the video, and if you have any questions about teaching abroad in general, please drop them below. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 4.